I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
Please wrap up.
Look at me!
You better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
My name is Abby Mortellero. I use she/her pronouns. I'm a resident of Worcester, Massachusetts. I'm here to speak in favor of 10B, 10J, and 14B. I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT. I speak as someone who is always misgendered, like all the time. People refer to me as sir when I prefer to be referred to as ma'am. I speak as someone who is afraid to use public toilets. I speak as someone who is a member of this community and is a queer person. I speak in favor of my city becoming a sanctuary city for people like me. And just remember, Election Day is coming and we are all voting. Thank you.
Is enough to get me to the boiling point.
Laddie LaRouge, he, they, in drag, District 3. First, through the chair, I want to welcome back Councillor Nguyen and thank you for your bravery in taking space. Please, I only have so much time. Please, Joe's gonna cut me off. In taking your space to heal from the bigotry you experienced in your role here and in calling in your colleagues to do better. We're all calling you in to do better. Through the chair, I'd also like to say, please do better. Council, I have given my testimony for weeks, and I want you to know that I do not want to be here. It's my day off. I do not want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me. I want you to listen to me.
It's a platform for people that are sitting home drawing an unemployment check, sitting in front of a keyboard.
Hello, my name is Addison, City of Worcester, she, her. One of the hardest things in my life that I have struggled with is the concept of self-worth. There have been many moments in my life where I felt that the struggle of existence outweighed my value to the world, that I would be better off dead. But over the past 2 years, I have found solace in my talents, my values, and my individuality, my identity. But councilors, I ask of you a similar question of values. How much federal funding is my life worth? Which matters more? Covering the legal fees of systemic police brutality or protecting the lives of queer people in our community? How many lives have to be lost before you consider fighting back against fascism and corruption? How many more people have to lose their human rights before you take action? Where do you draw the line?
How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
In early February, the Trump administration began removing any mention of transgender people from government websites. The State Department site now provides information for LGB travelers and LGB prospective adoptive parents, omitting the T from the acronym. The CDC has removed its Youth Risk Behavior Survey from their site, one of the only resources of federal data on LGBT youth. Resources for avoiding discrimination based on sexual orientation has vanished from the site for the Department of Labor. And then there is, of course, the executive order declaring that the United States only recognizes 2 sexes. Both of these actions, a century and an ocean apart, both originate from fascist ideology and both have the same goal: to reduce the visibility and validity of those with queer identities, to say firmly you have no place in our society, and to say that these people are negligible, to open the door for further oppression, which will happen. This will not be the last time we hear from the Trump admin on trans rights. And that is where my analogy ends. Take it further if you wish and extrapolate. Myself and many others here to speak today already have. But know this: When Councilors Bergman and Calorio chose to table this discussion last week, in the interest of maintaining federal funding, what they said is essentially this: it will cost too much money to defend our LGBT constituents. That those constituents, those community members, those neighbors are negligible. Their right to dignity and happiness can be dismissed if the impact is too great on the city's bottom line. So I would like to request from Councilors Bergman and Calorio, how much for one trans life? How many dollars does it take to put them on the chopping block? I want a precise number. I want a dollar amount. And who next? Who's the next protected group to be tied to the railroad tracks, and will you fold for them? Now is the time to stand up for tyranny. Now is the time to defend your constituents. Now is the time to say that if federal money relies on the dehumanization of trans people, that we don't want your goddamn money, because it's not going to stop with them.
Your opinion means very little to me.
Hi, I'm Lena. I'm a trans woman. I live here in Worcester. I've lived here in Worcester for like half a decade now. I teach at WPI. I work at the Worcester Art Museum. I'm here in support of 10B and 14B. It's clear to me that some people here consider themselves part of the same society as me and won't take up their most basic civil responsibility to do anything, to be empathetic enough for just a second to imagine the terror of the world crashing down on you like this, entirely undefended. Clearly, you think that I should be suffering that. Candy, look at me.
Please direct your comments.
And you have the audacity to make snide remarks about how rude the public is being or how they're swearing while they come up with you and fight for their lives? I'm sorry, was I not polite enough? Do I need to just like slink away quietly so you don't have to like think about the consequences of any of your actions? And you know, I get it, I really do. People come up here all day and they call you a dick and they move on with their lives. But for God's sakes, get over it. Respectfully, can you get over yourself so that my students and my friends and my family can go back to their lives? Let me talk.
Please wrap up your comments, please.
Do I just go back to my crying friends and tell them that they're too much of an inconvenience? No. I'm not going to quietly go away, and neither will all these people. I will show up every week.
Okay, thank you.
And I will speak truth to power. I will not you pretend that we're not citizens of this city. I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here.
Up, please?
I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
Please wrap up.
All right. So, Candy, Donna.
Please wrap up.
Oh, no, I can't talk directly to my council members
your time
either.
is up, please.
Can you look at me and tell me how many of my friends need to die before you do anything?
Please wrap up.
Look at me.
Okay, we're all done here.
Pathetic.
We're all done.
Look at me. Look at me. Don't look at anybody else. Don't look at the fat-ass losers or freaks. You look at me!
And with specific request to recognize that when the President of the United States, in his inauguration speech, says that you do not exist, that it should matter at our local level. It demands a response from our elected officials to say, we recognize that you are under attack, and in Worcester, we are going to protect you. We are going to use every law and policy possible to make sure that you are going to be safe here. We will not cooperate with a federal government that seeks to erase and minimize and kill you. Because I sit with young people, and let me tell you, sitting with a 9-year-old child or a 14-year-old child who says, I'm scared to come out at home. I don't know how I'm going to be supported in school. What's going on at the city? Those are the people that we in the community go back and talk to.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Hello. My name in drag is Dee Dee Delight. And my name out of drag is Dewey Cosgrove Atienza. And I've been living in Worcester my whole life as well. And man, I didn't know I was trans my whole life. Man, it's a weird experience hiding that I dress as a man at home, then hiding that I got redressed as a woman upstairs, and then hiding that to come to city council because I don't want my parents to know that I have to argue for both those things. And I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver that I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag. And I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
Yeah. All right, put the money in the bag. Put it in.
You're facing the wrong way, sir.
All right, give me the money.
Before we get into this final clip, which is basically one of the only interesting dissenting clips that I could find throughout the council meeting, if you guys wouldn't mind, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me and helps out the channel. Thank you.
John Provost, Worcester. I want to speak against these 14B and these other amendments, Mr. Mayor. Simply because, okay, let me give you my background. I'm legally blind. And when I was, born and brought up in the schools, and I got picked on a lot, and I grew up in doing menial jobs, and so I never amounted to anything and never got a mate. Well, you know what, Mayor? That is called natural selection. And you can make all the proclamations you want. You can make all the rules and whatever you want, but you cannot change nature.
Thank you so much for being my friends.